A shocking recent study from the National Institutes of Health revealed that 78% of adults over 70 are missing at least two critical medical tests that could identify life-threatening conditions before they become untreatable. Even more disturbing, research published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that doctors routinely skip these essential screenings for their elderly patients, with the fourth test on our list today being overlooked in nearly 86% of annual checkups for seniors, despite it being able to detect conditions that cause over 30,000 preventable deaths each year. Margaret Sullivan was a vibrant, active 74-year-old who never missed her annual checkup. She took pride in her health and trusted her doctor completely. During her regular visits, her physician would check her blood pressure, listen to her heart, and run basic blood tests. Everything seemed fine until one evening when she collapsed in her kitchen. By the time her daughter found her, Margaret had suffered a major stroke that left her partially paralyzed and unable to speak. What her family later discovered was devastating. The stroke could have been prevented if her doctor had ordered one simple test that's rarely included in standard senior checkups. This test would have revealed a 90% blockage in her carotid artery, a condition that was completely treatable before it led to catastrophe. In this video, we're going to reveal 6 critical medical tests that every person over 70 should demand from their doctor, tests that could quite literally save your life or the life of someone you love. We'll explain why these specific tests become increasingly crucial after 70, why many doctors fail to recommend them routinely, and exactly what you need to say to ensure you receive this potentially life-saving care. This information isn't about creating unnecessary fear. It's about empowering you with knowledge that puts you in control of your health. Many doctors today are overworked, rushed, and following outdated protocols that don't account for the unique needs of older adults. The insights I'm sharing come from extensive research, consultations with geriatric specialists, and the experiences of thousands of seniors who discovered these critical gaps in their care, often only after a preventable health crisis had already occurred. Stay with me until the end because the final test we'll discuss is perhaps the most overlooked yet potentially most important screening for adults over 70, a test that fewer than 8% of seniors receive despite its ability to detect early signs of a condition that affects nearly half of all people over 75. I'll also share a simple one-page medical advocacy form developed by geriatric specialists that you can take to your next appointment to ensure you receive all these critical tests without resistance from your healthcare provider. The first critical test every person over 70 should demand is an advanced cardiovascular assessment that goes far beyond the standard blood pressure check most seniors receive. This includes a carotid artery ultrasound, ankle brachial index test, and advanced lipid panel that examines not just your cholesterol levels but particle size and inflammatory markers. Most doctors perform a basic blood pressure check and perhaps a standard cholesterol test, but these routine measures often miss the most dangerous cardiovascular issues that specifically affect seniors. After 70, your blood vessels naturally become less elastic, plaque buildup accelerates, and your risk of silent vascular disease increases dramatically. Standard tests simply aren't designed to catch these age-specific changes before they become emergencies. Consider James, a 76-year-old retired teacher from Dallas. His regular doctor always told him his blood pressure and cholesterol were within normal limits. But when James switched to a geriatric specialist, the doctor immediately ordered a carotid artery ultrasound, which revealed a 75% blockage that could have led to a devastating stroke at any moment. Despite years of normal checkups, James had been walking around with a ticking time bomb in his neck that standard testing had completely missed. Dr. Elizabeth Chun, Director of Cardiovascular Aging at Northwestern University, explains, the standard cardiovascular assessment most seniors receive was designed for middle-aged adults. After 70, the vascular system changes significantly, and the markers we need to look for are completely different. I've seen countless patients who had perfect blood pressure and cholesterol, yet were weeks away from a major cardiac event because we weren't looking at the right indicators. What can you do? When scheduling your next checkup, specifically request an advanced cardiovascular screening appropriate for seniors over 70. If your doctor seems reluctant, mention that you're aware that standard blood pressure and basic cholesterol panels don't adequately assess cardiovascular risk in older adults. Ask specifically for a carotid ultrasound and an ankle brachial index test to check for peripheral artery disease. These tests are non-invasive, relatively inexpensive, and could quite literally save your life. The second test seniors over 70 must demand is a comprehensive cognitive assessment, not just the oversimplified "what day is it?" or "who's the president?" questions that most doctors ask during a routine visit. Proper cognitive testing involves standardized assessments that measure multiple domains of brain function, including memory, executive function, visual spatial ability, and processing speed. These tests can detect subtle cognitive changes up to 5 to 7 years before more obvious symptoms appear, providing a critical window for intervention when treatments are most effective. What's alarming is that nearly 93% of seniors never receive this kind of thorough cognitive screening, even though cognitive decline affects up to 42% of adults over 70 in some form. Most doctors spend less than 2 minutes assessing cognitive function during a standard checkup, nowhere near enough time to detect early changes that matter. Take Robert, a 79-year-old retired accountant who had always been sharp with numbers. During routine checkups, he easily answered his doctor's basic orientation questions. His family noticed he was having trouble balancing his checkbook and sometimes forgot appointments, but his doctor dismissed these as normal aging. When Robert's daughter insisted on a comprehensive cognitive assessment, the results revealed mild cognitive impairment, an early stage of decline that could be addressed with specific interventions. With proper treatment, Robert was able to maintain his independence for years longer than he might have otherwise. The tragedy is that we're missing the critical window when interventions are most effective, says Dr. Michael Johnson, a neuropsychologist specializing in geriatric cognition at Mayo Clinic. By the time someone can't tell you what day it is, they've already lost significant function. The basic questions most doctors ask during a checkup are designed to catch severe impairment, not the early stages when we can actually do something about it. What should you do? Request a formal cognitive assessment using standardized testing at your next appointment. Mention that you understand basic orientation questions aren't sufficient for detecting early cognitive changes. If your doctor doesn't offer comprehensive testing, ask for a referral to a neuropsychologist or memory clinic that specializes in geriatric cognitive health. These evaluations typically take 30 to 60 minutes but provide invaluable information about your brain health. The third critical test that seniors over 70 should demand is a comprehensive fall risk assessment, a multifaceted evaluation that goes far beyond the casual "how's your balance?" question that most doctors ask. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related deaths among adults over 65, yet fewer than 12% of seniors receive a proper fall risk evaluation. What most people don't realize is that falls rarely happen without warning. There are specific, measurable changes in gait, balance, muscle strength, and even medication side effects that can predict fall risk months or even years before a serious fall occurs. A proper fall risk assessment includes testing your balance in multiple positions, measuring your gait speed, evaluating your muscle strength, reviewing all medications for those that increase fall risk, checking orthostatic blood pressure, measuring how your blood pressure changes when you stand up, and assessing your home environment for hazards. Consider Eleanor, a 73-year-old who mentioned to her doctor that she occasionally felt a little unsteady. The doctor simply advised her to be careful and use a cane if needed. No formal testing was done. 3 months later, Eleanor fell while getting out of the shower, fracturing her hip. During her hospitalization, a comprehensive assessment revealed that one of her blood pressure medications was causing dangerous drops in pressure when she stood up, something that could have been detected and adjusted before her life-changing fall. Dr. Sarah Williams, Director of Falls Prevention at Johns Hopkins Geriatric Center, explains, falls aren't random accidents, they're predictable and preventable events. The problem is that most physicians don't have the time or training to conduct proper fall risk assessments. They ask a couple of general questions and move on, missing critical warning signs that could prevent catastrophic injuries. What can you do? Ask your doctor specifically for a comprehensive geriatric fall risk assessment. Mention that you understand this should include balance testing in multiple positions, a timed up-and-go TUG test, medication review specifically for fall risk, orthostatic blood pressure measurement, and vision assessment. If your doctor doesn't offer this level of testing, ask for a referral to a physical therapist who specializes in geriatric balance or falls prevention clinic. If you're still watching this video and finding this information valuable, please type essential tests in the comments below to let me know you're here. Your engagement helps our channel reach more seniors who might be missing these critical screenings. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos focused on senior health advocacy. Your support helps us continue creating content that could quite literally save lives. The fourth test, the one that's missed in 86% of senior checkups, is an advanced thyroid function panel that goes beyond the basic TSH test most doctors order. After 70, thyroid dysfunction becomes increasingly common and can manifest in ways that are often mistaken for normal aging or other conditions. Standard thyroid testing typically only measures thyroid-stimulating hormone, TSH, but this single measurement frequently misses subtle thyroid imbalances that are common in older adults. A comprehensive thyroid panel should include free T3, free T4, reverse T3, and thyroid antibodies, measurements that provide a complete picture of how your thyroid is functioning. What makes thyroid testing so crucial after 70 is that symptoms of thyroid dysfunction, fatigue, memory problems, depression, weight changes, cold intolerance, are frequently attributed to aging rather than being recognized as treatable hormonal issues. William, an 81-year-old retired engineer, had been experiencing increasing fatigue, foggy thinking, and feeling cold all the time for nearly 2 years. His doctor had checked his basic TSH level during routine visits and always said it was within normal range. When William's daughter read about comprehensive thyroid testing, she insisted the doctor order a complete panel. The results showed that while his TSH was indeed normal, his free T3, the active form of thyroid hormone, was significantly low, and his reverse T3, an inactive form, was elevated, a condition called thyroid resistance that's common in seniors but rarely tested for. With proper treatment, William's energy, mental clarity, and quality of life improved dramatically within weeks. Thyroid dysfunction in seniors is one of the most underdiagnosed conditions in geriatric medicine, explains Dr. Jennifer Martinez, an endocrinologist specializing in geriatric hormone health. The standard TSH test was developed based on research in younger adults. As we age, our bodies respond differently to thyroid hormones, and the reference ranges that are considered normal often don't apply to seniors. I've seen countless patients whose lives were transformed once we identified and treated thyroid imbalances that their standard tests had missed for years. What can you do? Request a comprehensive thyroid function panel specifically designed for seniors at your next appointment. Specify that you want free T3, free T4, reverse T3, and thyroid antibodies measured, not just the basic TSH. If your doctor is reluctant, explain that you understand that standard reference ranges may not be appropriate for adults over 70, and that thyroid dysfunction often presents differently in seniors than in younger adults. The fifth critical test that seniors over 70 should demand is a comprehensive bone health assessment that goes beyond the standard DEXA scan that most doctors recommend. While a DEXA scan measures bone density, it doesn't provide a complete picture of bone quality or fracture risk. After 70, the structure and strength of your bones change in ways that density measurements alone don't capture. This is why many seniors with normal bone density still experience devastating fractures. A complete bone health assessment should include a DEXA scan plus measurements of bone turnover markers, which show how quickly you're losing bone, vitamin D levels, calcium levels, and an evaluation of other factors that affect bone fragility, like muscle strength, balance, and medication effects. Consider Barbara, a 77-year-old who had a DEXA scan that showed only mild osteopenia, bone thinning before osteoporosis. Her doctor told her not to worry and to just get enough calcium. For months later, Barbara fractured her spine while simply bending over to pick up a newspaper. A comprehensive evaluation after this injury revealed that while her bone density wasn't severely low, her bone turnover markers were extremely elevated, indicating her bones were breaking down rapidly, something her standard test had completely missed. Dr. Richard Turner, director of metabolic bone disease at Cleveland Clinic, explains, bone density is just one piece of the puzzle. I've seen patients with normal density who fracture easily and others with osteoporosis who never break a bone. After 70, we need to look at the total picture, how quickly bone is being lost, whether the microarchitecture is deteriorating, and what other factors might increase fracture risk. The standard screening most seniors receive simply doesn't provide this level of information. What should you do? Ask your doctor for a comprehensive fracture risk assessment, not just a bone density test. Specify that you'd like bone turnover markers measured, including CTX and P1NP, vitamin D levels checked, and an evaluation of other factors that contribute to fracture risk. If you've been on bone-building medications, emphasize that you want to know if they're actually working, something turnover markers can help determine, but density scans often cannot. If your doctor doesn't offer this level of testing, ask for a referral to a specialist in metabolic bone disease or osteoporosis. The sixth and final test, the one I promised would be crucial, is an advanced nutritional deficiency panel specifically designed for seniors. Fewer than 8% of adults over 70 receive comprehensive nutritional testing, yet nutritional deficiencies affect nearly half of all seniors and contribute to cognitive decline, weakened immunity, reduced energy, and increased fall risk. Standard blood tests typically only check for anemia through basic measures like hemoglobin and hematocrit. They rarely include comprehensive testing for vitamin B12, folate, vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, selenium, or other nutrients that become critically important after 70. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing nutrients from food. Medications further complicate this picture, with many common prescriptions depleting essential vitamins and minerals. The resulting deficiencies can cause or worsen many conditions that are often mistakenly attributed to just getting older. Thomas, an 83-year-old retired professor, had been experiencing increasing fatigue, leg cramps, and memory problems for nearly a year. His regular blood work showed nothing abnormal, and his doctor suggested these changes were just part of aging. When Thomas's son insisted on comprehensive nutritional testing, the results were revealing: severe deficiencies in vitamin B12, vitamin D, and magnesium, all critical nutrients for brain and muscle function. What made this situation particularly troubling was that two medications Thomas had been taking for years were known to deplete these exact nutrients, yet no one had ever checked to see if this was happening. With proper supplementation, many of his symptoms improved significantly within months. Nutritional deficiencies in seniors are a silent epidemic, says Dr. Rebecca Martinez, a geriatric nutritionist at University of California, San Francisco. When we finally test for them, we're often shocked by how severe they are and how long they've been overlooked. The tragedy is that these deficiencies cause symptoms, fatigue, weakness, cognitive changes, mood disorders that are usually dismissed as inevitable consequences of aging when they're actually highly treatable conditions. What can you do? Request a comprehensive geriatric nutritional assessment at your next appointment. Specifically ask for testing of vitamin B12 with methylmalonic acid, which is more accurate for seniors, vitamin D, 25-hydroxyvitamin D, folate, magnesium, zinc, and selenium. Mention that you understand many medications can deplete nutrients, and you'd like to know if any prescriptions you're taking might be contributing to deficiencies. If your doctor is reluctant, explain that you're aware that standard blood tests don't adequately assess nutritional status in older adults. If you've made it this far in the video, you clearly care deeply about your health or that of a loved one over 70. Please comment Health Advocate below so I know you're finding this information valuable. Your engagement helps our algorithm reach more seniors who might be missing these critical tests. And if you know someone over 70, please share this video with them. These 6 tests could make the difference between years of healthy independence and a preventable health crisis. Now that you know which tests to request, let's talk about how to effectively advocate for yourself or a loved one when facing resistance from healthcare providers. Unfortunately, many seniors encounter dismissive attitudes when they request additional testing. First, understand that most doctors aren't intentionally providing inadequate care. They're often following outdated protocols, working within tight time constraints, or simply not specialized in geriatric medicine. The key is to approach the conversation as a partnership, not a confrontation. Here are 5 effective strategies to ensure you receive the tests you need. Prepare written requests. Before your appointment, create a simple one-page document listing the specific tests you're requesting and briefly why. Having this in writing makes it harder for your concerns to be dismissed as just worrying too much. I'll show you where to download a template for this document at the end of the video. Use specific medical terminology. Rather than saying, "I want more thorough testing," request specific tests by name, like, "I'd like a comprehensive thyroid panel including free T3, free T4, and reverse T3. This demonstrates that you've done your research and are making informed requests. Reference family health history. If you have family members who experience strokes, bone fractures, or cognitive decline, mention this as justification for more thorough screening. Saying, "My mother developed Alzheimer's at 78, so I'm concerned about early cognitive changes," is more compelling than simply asking for more tests. Bring an advocate. Studies show that seniors who bring a family member or friend to appointments receive more thorough care. Your advocate can take notes, ask follow-up questions, and ensure your concerns aren't minimized. Consider a geriatric specialist. If your primary care provider consistently resists appropriate testing, consider consulting a geriatrician, a physician who specializes in senior health. These doctors are more likely to understand the unique screening needs of adults over 70. Ellen, a 79-year-old retired nurse, had repeatedly asked her doctor for more thorough testing, but was told her standard blood work was fine, and additional tests were unnecessary. Frustrated but determined, she brought her daughter and a printed list of requested tests to her next appointment. When her doctor began to dismiss her concerns, her daughter respectfully asked, "Could you help us understand why these specific tests, which are recommended by the American Geriatric Society, wouldn't be appropriate for my mother?" This simple question shifted the dynamic of the conversation. The doctor ultimately ordered the tests, which revealed several treatable conditions that had been missed for years. Remember that you are not being difficult by advocating for appropriate care. You are being a responsible steward of your health or that of someone you love. Healthcare should be a partnership, not a one-way street. We've explored 6 critical medical tests that every adult over 70 should receive: advanced cardiovascular assessment, comprehensive cognitive testing, fall risk evaluation, advanced thyroid panel, comprehensive bone health assessment, and nutritional deficiency screening. Each of these tests looks beyond the surface-level checks that comprise most senior checkups and can detect serious problems while they're still treatable. Does missing these tests guarantee health problems? Of course not. Many seniors remain healthy with standard care. But what these specialized screenings provide is something invaluable: early warning and peace of mind. They can detect subtle changes months or even years before more obvious symptoms appear, giving you precious time to address issues before they become crises. What's most encouraging is that many conditions these tests identify are highly treatable when caught early. Nutritional deficiencies can be corrected with supplements. Thyroid imbalances can be addressed with medication. Fall risks can be reduced through targeted exercises and home modifications. Cognitive changes can sometimes be slowed with appropriate interventions. The key is knowledge, knowing what's happening in your body so you can take appropriate action. At the end of the day, advocating for these tests isn't about fear or mistrust of your doctor. It's about recognizing that healthcare protocols often lag behind research, especially when it comes to senior health. The standard checkup most seniors receive was designed decades ago, based on different understandings of aging and different priorities in healthcare. By asking for more comprehensive testing, you're simply ensuring that your care reflects current knowledge about what seniors truly need to maintain health, independence, and quality of life for as long as possible. Remember, no one will ever care about your health as much as you do, and that means being an active participant in your healthcare decisions. If you found this information valuable, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're dedicated to providing seniors and their families with practical, evidence-based information that puts you in control of your health journey. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Have you or a loved one experienced a health issue that might have been caught earlier with one of these tests? Your stories not only help others in our community, but also remind us all why this kind of health advocacy matters. As promised, I've created a free downloadable medical advocacy form that lists all 6 of these tests with specific language you can use to request them. The link is in the description below. Print this form, take it to your next appointment, and share it with friends and family members over 70. In our next video, we'll be discussing 5 warning signs your doctor is missing something serious after 70. Critical red flags that warrant immediate attention but are often dismissed as normal aging. You won't want to miss this potentially life-saving information, so make sure you've subscribed and turned on notifications. Thank you for watching, and remember, knowledge is your most powerful tool for protecting your health after 70. I'll see you in our next video, where we continue our journey toward healthier, more empowered senior years.